What is up everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing you guys more games from a secret console running on a Retroid Pocket 5. So let's get started. Now before we begin, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe to my channel, really helps me grow so I can keep bringing content for you guys like this. And with this said, let's jump onto the list. The first game on this list is Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. This game has just been released on a secret console. I'm honestly really impressed seeing this running on the Retroid Pocket 5 and how well it runs overall. This game is set in the year 2054 after Earth has been devastated by an intergalactic war between two alien races. And humans basically just flew away in space in a massive ship called the White Whale, but it crashed in a planet called Mira. The game is open world and you fight aliens that are native to this planet. I'm still getting used to the controls for this game. Also for the combat, it's a little bit different. It is real time, but the character kind of auto shoots, at least in the beginning. I know that later down the line you can pilot giant robots called skells, and you can also customize your characters and whatnot. But so far this game is running really well on here. Overall I'm getting a performance of 25 FPS plus. Obviously with a few other configurations like lowering the resolution, you can probably get better performance on here, but I prefer to have my games looking a little bit better. The next game on the list is a horror game called Hollow Cocoon. Hollow Cocoon is a horror game set in rural Japan in the 1980s. You play as Minato Jinba, a college student who returns to his mother's hometown after receiving news that his grandmother is in critical condition, and while you're exploring his grandma's house, you uncover dark secrets and terrifying horrors. I previously played a little bit of this game, but unfortunately I lost my save data. I updated the emulator and I lost not just this game data but a lot of other games data. But for this game I had just gotten back to the grandma's house. So honestly overall this game does a really great job in setting the spooky atmosphere of rural Japan. It really focuses on the psychological horror and having to hide and escape from the weird monster that you eventually see here. Kind of reminds me of Alien Isolation, how you had to hide from the alien and whatnot. The next game on the list is Akiba's Trip Hellbound and Debriefed. Oh, Akiba's Trip. This game was originally released on PSP and it was a Japan exclusive. Eventually they did a second game which was not necessarily a sequel, but it was released on the PS Vita. It was an awesome game, so when I saw that they were releasing this game, I had really high hopes for it. But it's literally just an enhanced version of the PSP game. I was hoping it was gonna have improvements, but the graphics and the animations are clunky for today's standards. They're honestly lacking. The second game is a lot better. Also the graphics are better, even though this is technically a remaster of the first game, so you would assume that they would have learned from the second game that they did and they would have kind of like applied the same formula for this one, but it doesn't seem that they did. So while this game is technically playable on here, unfortunately for the second game I cannot get it working on here yet, but this one works well. You sometimes get those little FPS drops here, so if you just swipe up on the app drawer, it kind of like fixes on its own. If you don't want to have to continuously do that, you can just change here in the settings. You can go to system, and for limit speed you gotta disable that, and then the game should not give you that issue anymore. But it could consume more power for your Retroid, and there are also some games that do not like that, like Signalis, so just keep that in mind. The next game on the list is a game called Blade Chimera. This game is a Metroidvania game that is in a cyberpunk setting. Set in a dark and sinister Osaka, you play as Shin, a demon hunter that has lost his memory and forms an unusual partnership with a demon named Lux, who can shapeshift into a sword and manipulate time. So basically you just go around hacking and slashing demons, trying to figure out Shin's past. It has a pretty cool pixel art style and a nice atmosphere overall. If you like Metroidvania-like games and cyberpunk, this is the game for you. The next game on the list is 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. 13 Sentinels really has a complex narrative about time travel and a lot of science fiction stuff. So you basically are playing as 13 different high school students, and based on each of the stories you kind of start putting the whole game story all together. The fate of the students becomes intertwined after huge colossal creatures called kaiju appear on Earth, and the story is told in a not linear manner, so like I said, you kind of gotta figure out things as you play. I have this game on my PS5 and I played a little bit of it, but I haven't gotten really that far in it, so being able to take all these games on a handheld is just better for me. And the last game on the list is this game called Decarnation. Decarnation is a psychological horror game set in 1990s Paris. The game centers on Gloria, a cabaret dancer whose life is spiraling downward. As you play the game, you find that her career and personal relationships are going downhill, so she accepts a mysterious offer that forces her into a nightmare journey. This game explores the theme of mental health, trauma, and the exploitation of women. One cool thing about this game is the retro pixel art style, which adds to the game atmosphere. It also draws inspiration from psychological horror films, and it creates a deeply unsettling atmosphere, blurring the lines between reality and Gloria's inner struggles. That is all for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys next time.